Salvete! Welcome to my channel. Mihi nomen est Stephen. Qui, here, linguam latinam discimus. Linguam latinam discimus ego. Linguam doceo. Vos linguam discitis. Linguam latinam discimus. We are learning the verb discere. Disco, discere, to learn. Ego doceo, I teach. Vos discitis, and you are learning and hopefully enjoying. Welcome, guys. Today I want to talk about nouns, Latin nouns. We have already met nouns of first declension ending in a, like puella, mainly feminine. We have met second declension nouns, both masculine and neuter, masculine and in us, like a dominus, or sometimes er, like puer, magister, and then neuter nouns of second declension ending in like a bellum. Today we're going to look at third declension nouns. So let us just remember that Latin nouns, unlike modern English, they have a grammatical gender, either masculine, feminine, or neuter. If it's referring to a person, it's usually straightforward. Anything else, you just have to learn it as you come across it. All right? And the nouns have endings depending on whether they're singular or plural, and also the case system. And the case endings are there to pinpoint the precise function of the word in that sentence. All right? Well, we'll just revise the case meanings shortly. But first of all, let us come to third declension nouns. Some of them are masculine, some of them are feminine, some of them are neuter. Now, unlike the first declension where they're all ending in a, and second declension for masculine, most of them are us, neuter, the third declension, though they follow the same pattern throughout the cases, in the nominative singular form, the basic dictionary form, they appear in many different ways, so they don't all look the same. Many of them end in a consonant. Now, today we're going to look at third declension nouns ending in tor. Okay, this is just one example. There are many different types, and we'll look at examples over the next few videos. All right. So these ones today are all masculine, and these tor words all tend to refer to a profession, somebody's job. So I thought we'd start with gladiator because it's a nice familiar word. We all know what it means. I used it in some sentences early on, talking about the gladiators fighting, gladiator pugnat. The gladiator defeats the athlete, gladiator athletam superat. However, I only ever used him in the nominative case for a reason, because we hadn't looked at the declension. So now let us look and see how it works in the singular for today. So, nominative and vocative. Remember, vocative, you're just calling someone out. Gladiator. Gladiator, come here. Gladiator. Weni, hook. Weni, come, hook, hither to this place. Come here. Gladiator, weni, hook. You're just calling someone directly. Gladiator, how are you? All right? That's vocative case. We don't need to worry about it too much. It happens here to be the same as the nominative, so that's all good. Accusative, you must know, is a direct object. I see the gladiator. Love the gladiator. Know the gladiator is the object. Gladiatorem. Gladiatorem. All right? Now, if we think about it, the M ending is quite familiar. Think about first declension nouns like puella. You can visualize the table, singular, going down, nominative, vocative, accusative. Puella, puella, puellam. Right, the M is there. Table, mensa, mensa, mensam. Let's try a second declension like dominus, master. Dominus, domine, dominum. Puer, puer, puerum. So we've had the M is still present, but with third declension, it's em, it's M. Gladiatorem. Now, I said with the third declension, the nominative singular, the dictionary forms are all different. But all accusatives must end in em. So if you see a singular accusative, em, you know it's a third declension noun straight away. Gladiatorem. Likewise, genitive singular, all end in is. Gladiatoris. What's the genitive case? Do you remember? The basic function. It means of the, belonging to, of the gladiator. In English we'd say the gladiator, apostrophe S, the gladiator's weapon, helmet, house, whatever. Alright, belonging to, of the. Gladiator, gladiator, gladiatorem, gladiatorem, gladiatoris. Dative. Gladiatori. Okay, with just a long E. What's dative? It means to or for somebody. It's the indirect object. So a sentence with a direct object would be something like, I see the gladiator. An indirect dative would be something like, I give the money to the gladiator. I owe him the money. He won and, I have to pay. So that would be something. Gladiatori, pecuniam, money, I give do. And remember that giving, the infinitive dare, is one of those, I call them a dative trigger verbs, because you give something to somebody, so necessarily it involves an indirect object. Similarly, we met the verb, third conjugation verb, mitto, mittere, to send. That's probably going to involve a dative, because you're sending something to somebody. Alright, so gladiatori, to the gladiator. And finally, ablative singular, gladiatore. Remember, ablative basic meaning is by, from, or with. Comes after the preposition cum, meaning with or alongside. So with the gladiator would be cum gladiatore. I walk with the gladiator. Ambulo cum gladiatore. Something like that. So third declension singular, whatever the nominative form looks like, your accusative must have m, your genitive must have is, your dative e, and your ablative e. So if you see an is in the genitive or an e, then you know you're dealing with a third declension noun. Let's just recite this a few times. Let's do this together, guys, just to practice and get a feel for this pattern. Gladiator, gladiator, gladiatorem, gladiatoris, gladiatori, gladiatore. Gladiator, gladiator, gladiatorem, accusative, gladiatoris, of the gladiator, gladiatori, to or for the gladiator, gladiatore, with, by, from the gladiator. My goodness. Gladiator, gladiator, gladiatorem, gladiatoris, gladiatori, gladiatore. Let's go faster. Gladiator, gladiator, gladiatorem, gladiatoris, gladiatori, gladiatore. So M, is, E, E. Your key endings. M, is, E, E. Right, let's make a few easy sentences with our friend the gladiator. I see the gladiator. I see the gladiator. I see video. Ego video. It can't stay like that because that would mean he's doing the action. So he's receiving the action, accusative. Gladiatorem. Video. Gladiatorem. Or gladiatorem. Video. We greet, salute, we greet the gladiator in the arena. Gladiatorem in arena, salute. What's it going to be? We greet, are verb, salutamos. Well done if you got it. Gladiatorem, salutamos. Gladiatorem in arena, salutamos. We often greet the gladiator in the arena. Gladiatorem saipe salutamos in arena saipe salutamos. What about a genitive? Do you remember the word for sword? It comes from this word, or I should probably say the word gladiator comes from the word sword, I imagine. It's gladios, an us word, which is a masculine second declension like dominus or servus. So the sword of the gladiator, belonging to the gladiator. So the sword is just nominative, gladios. Which one are we going to choose? Genitive, of the. Gladiatores. Gladius, gladiatores. It's a bit repetitive. Gladiatoris, gladius. Let's say he's got a spear. What's that one? Begins with H. H-A-S. Hasta. First declension, feminine, hasta, at word. Right, the spear of the gladiator. Hasta gladiatoris, or gladiatoris hasta. Let's make it the object of the sentence. I am holding tenaciously. Remember, tenere. I'm holding the spear of the gladiator. Risky business, holding his weapon. I am holding the spear of the gladiator. Let's just keep that order for simplicity. Teneo, hastam, gladiatoris. Gladiatoris hastam, teneo. Hastam gladiatoris, teneo. Because I'm teneo, I'm holding, what am I holding? Not the gladiator. The spear, that's my direct object accusative. Hastam, of the gladiator. That stays in the genitive. Now I've just got a selection of similar words which are all third declension, tor words, and are also masculine. So we've had gladiator, what have we got here? Mercator. Mercator. Merchant. Quite like the English word, isn't it really? Mercator. Victor. I haven't written the English here. It's a victor, which is to say somebody who wins, who is triumphant in whatever field, whether it's military or a gladiatorial battle, or in some kind of metaphorical sense. The victor. Mercator, victor. So let's just take the victor, the victor, the winner, the champion, and let's just practice with these endings. It's going to be exactly the same. So in the nominative and vocative it stays the same. Nothing is added, nothing is detracted. But to the end of the tor, we add M-S-E-E in the other cases. So victor, victor, victorem, victoris, victori, victore. Victor, victor, victorem, accusative. Victoris, victori, victore. Again. Victor, victor, victorem, victoris, victori, victore. Baker. Pistor. Same thing. Pistor, 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 pistorem. I love the baker. Pistorem amo. We love the baker. Pistorem amamus. Pistoris, pistori, pistore. So if you're saying the baker's bread is the best in town, it will be the bread of the baker. So you'd have pistoris. Pistoris. The word for bread, incidentally, is panis. It's also third declension, but we'll look at it another day, the is ones. Panis. Panis. Pistoris. Pistoris, panis. Incidentally, there were apparently no bakers in early Rome. The bread was baked in the household by the mother and perhaps by the daughters. But at a later date, then the bakers came in to become something of an industry. But in the early days, no bakers, no pistor. And finally, very important word actually for the Roman context is the orator. Notice a long vowel here. Orator. A speaker. Somebody who practices the art of oratory. We can say an orator, can't we, in modern English? Orator. So a speaker, and this in particular, one imagines somebody standing in the forum. Maybe it's speaking about some legislation, some proposed legislation for or against it. Speaking as an advocate in defense of a client or in prosecution. Orator, and the spoken word and the mastery of it was very important to this to people at the time. So a young man would be either apprenticed to, if you were of good breeding, let's say, you would be apprenticed to a distinguished soldier and pursue a military path, or you would perhaps be apprenticed to an orator, a lawyer, and you would follow that person and learn how to handle yourself and how to conduct that trade. Perhaps the most famous Roman orator is Cicero, Marcus Tullius Cicero, and we have lots and lots of his speeches available to us that we can read and get a sample of this oratory and imagine ourselves there in the forum listening to his famous speeches. So, bit of a digression there, guys. Orator, how's it work? Orator, orator, oratorem, oratores, oratori, oratore. Let's make a few sentences then. Where is the merchant? Where's the merchant? Ubi est mercator. Ubi est mercator. I see the merchant. I see the merchant in the forum. Video. Accusative. Mercatorem in foro. Mercatorem in foro. Video. We hasten to the merchant. We hasten to the merchant. Do you remember that verb? I'm assuming you've watched the other videos here. Third conjugation verb, contendere. Contendimus. Ad plus accusative ad mercatorem. Ubi est mercator. Mercatorem in foro video. Or videmus, we see. Contendimus nunc. We now hasten ad to mercatorem. Let's go back to our gladiator friend. What about the athlete defeats or overpowers the gladiator? The athlete overpowers, overcomes, superare is your verb, the gladiator. Atleta, nominative. Superat, supero, superat, third person. Atleta superat, gladiatorem. Gladiatorem, atleta superat. Atleta gladiatorem superat. I give the spear to the gladiator. I give the spear to the gladiator. What would that be? We know hasta as the noun. We know gladiator. Let's quickly revise the verb giving. Dare. Do das dat. I give, you give, he gives. Do das dat. Damus dat is dat. Do das dat. Damus dat is dat. I give the spear. Do, ego do, hastam. Dative, gladiatori. Gladiatori, hastam do. We give the spear to the gladiator. Gladiatori, hastam damus. We don't give the spear to the gladiator. Gladiatori, hastam non damus. Non damus, hastam gladiatori. The boys greet the victor. Sorry about that noise. That's someone drilling outside. I hope that stops very soon. The boys greet the victor. Pueri, nominatives, plural. Pueri, victorem salutant. Pueri, victorem salutant. The girls love the victor. Puellae, nominative, plural. Victorem amant. Puellae, victorem amant. Pueri, victorem salutant. The boys, pueri salutant. Puellae, victorem amant. The master gives money to the victor. Why not? Money is pecunia, feminine noun. Pecunia, first declension. Dominus, pecuniam, accusative because he's giving the money, to the victor. Victori, dative, indirect object, to the victor. Dat gives, he gives dat. Dominus, victori, pecuniam dat. Dominus, victori, pecuniam dat. Let's just have a little look at this last thing I've got on here, which is a new verb, quaere. This is a third conjugation verb, so if you haven't already, please go back to the video on third conjugation verbs, where we recite and really practice the endings. But I've got them on here just in case you're not familiar or you want to, you can't remember them. So quaere is to seek, to look for. Reminds me of a little bit of the English word to inquire. If you're inquiring, you're seeking information, aren't you? You're seeking confirmation of something. I just need to inquire at the office. I'm seeking something. Quirere. Third conjugation, Take off the ere, we get choir. The R is the end of the stem. Choir. Push through the R. Choiro, choiris, choirit. I seek, you seek, he, she seeks. Plural. Choirimus, choiritis, choirunt. Notice the is, the I, and the plural they is unt, characteristic of third conjugation verbs. Choiro, choiris, choirit. I seek, you seek, he, she seeks. Choirimus, we seek. Choiritis, you guys seek. Choirunt, they. Choiro, choiris, choirit. Choirimus, choiritis, choirunt. Again, choiro, choiris, choirit. Choirimus, choiritis, choirunt. We are seeking, we're looking for the orator. We need him to defend our case in the forum tomorrow. We're seeking the orator. Is he seeking us? No, so he's the object. Oratorem, choirimus. You could add the pronoun for we if you like. The nominative is nos, although it's not necessary. Nos oratorem choirimus. Nos oratorem choirimus. We see the orator's toga. We see the orator's toga. It's shining white as he enters the forum. The word for toga is just toga, first declension feminine. So we're seeing the toga, therefore it's accusative. Togam, of the orator, therefore genitive singular. Oratores, we see videmus. Togam oratores videmus. Oratores togam videmus. Both versions are absolutely fine. The merchant is walking with the orator. The merchant is walking, ambulare, ambulo, ambulas, ambulat, third person singular. Mercator ambulat, with, cum, and remember, cum always takes the ablative. Takes the ablative, it means the word that comes after the with has an ablative ending. Cum oratore, cum oratore. Mercator, cum oratore, ambulat, in the forum, in foro. Mercator, in foro, cum oratore, ambulat. Where is the orator? Where is the orator? Ubi est orator. Remember, whenever you're using the verb to be it a statement or a question, somebody is, where is, their being. That is always nominative case. It cannot be anything other. Where is the orator? Ubi est orator, basic nominative. I greet the orator in the tavern. I greet the orator in the tavern. Oratorem in taberna saluto. Oratorem in taberna saluto. The baker gives the money to the orator. The baker gives the money to the orator. Pistor. Oratori, dative, to the orator, indirect object. Pecuniam dat, gives dat. Pistor. Oratori. Pecuniam dat. Pistor. Oratori. Pecuniam dat. The money of the baker. The money of the baker. The money must be nominative, pecunia. Of the baker, genitive, pistores, is on the table. Est in mensa. Pecunia, pistores, est in mensa. Or pistores, pecunia, est in mensa. We count the baker's money on the table. We count. Do you remember the verb? Numerare, like to number something. First conjugation. Numerare. Numeramos, we numeramos. Pecuniam, accusative. Pistores in mensa. Pistores pecuniam in mensa numeramus. Pecuniam pistoris in mensa numeramus. Very well done if you're getting these, and don't worry if it's a little bit too much and you have to pause and think about it or go back. That's normal. All right, so don't. If you're understanding the concepts, that is good. Let us just one time more go through the gladiator endings. So third declension, singular. All these tors are masculine, referring to some kind of profession, some kind of job identity. Stays the same in nominative and vocative, and then we get the red endings, which are always found in third declensions. So, gladiator, gladiator, gladiatorem, gladiatoris, gladiatori, gladiatore. Gladiator, gladiator, gladiatorem, gladiatoris, gladiatori, gladiatore. So, with that said, I'm going to finish here, let you just practice, go over it, soak it up, and then in the next lesson we shall introduce the plural forms of these third declension nouns with these words and a few others that are similar. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope this has been useful. I will just say as well, do please make sure that you know off by heart your first declension words and your second declension words before engaging too much with this. Otherwise, there's a potential that things might just, the more declensions and conjugations we introduce, the more it all just gets a bit mixed up. I've seen it happen before, so do be really sure to learn one thing very carefully and very thoroughly at a time. Don't rush. There's no rush here. We take our time, and then once we know it, it remains and it's permanent. And when we come to reading Latin a little bit further down the line, then we can do so with greater facility, with more speed and skill, which in turn produces more enjoyment. That is at least my contention, guys. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. And I hope you'll join me again for the next video. Take care, guys. Ualete.